In this video, we're going to have a look at the panels which go on the bottom of the panniers. The kit that I purchased, it comes with both the floor panels for this side here, and then of course on the other side, just this little section here, which is that piece there. The reason why that side is shorter, because that's where the fuel tank goes in. And then there is actually another panel that does go over there once the fuel tank's put in, but I haven't got that yet. The other thing it comes with are these angle-shaped pieces of strips of metal, and they're designed to sort of, once the panel's in, sort of goes like that to close it off to keep it in there. So that's the purpose of those. So there's one for each side. Obviously the shorter one is for the side that's closest to the bottom there, and then the top has a longer one that goes all the way to each end. So unfortunately this one, there's a bit of a bend in there, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. The other thing the kit comes with are the parts for the battery box. So you've got this panel here which has the metal rods in there which actually bolt down and support down the actual battery. The other thing it comes with too are these legs which will sit on the floor. We'll have to work out which way they go, but they sort of sit in there like that, and then the battery actually sits on top of that. That forms the shelf. But those will go in after. I'll have to sort out what order I want to put them in. So the first thing is to actually just get a test fit done, because my plan is to actually get this body sandblasted, and it's easier to do it if these panels aren't in there yet. So just so the sandblasters can get to all the interior. Makes it a bit easier to access it, and then once it's back from the sandblasters, I can fix those floor panels in. But these need to be prepared before, just to make sure they all test fit correctly, and any other holes that need to be pre-drilled are all done on there. Right, one of the first steps I needed to do is make sure that this angled piece sort of fits in there nicely. These two centre parts, the floor is actually going to sit on top of those, so that will sort of end up sitting there. So it's not completely level, but like going by the thickness of that bit of floor, I might be able to alter this angled piece a bit, just get it a bit more level. This side is fine, yeah, that's okay. And then of course at the ends, the floor actually sits inside here, so that's on the outside. I'll have to probably bend up these two bits to allow the floor to sort of slide in, because there's not going to be any other way to get it in there otherwise. So I just need to make some alterations to that piece first. So what I need to do next now, that sort of gap I've adjusted a bit. So I had a little bit of an off cut. Alright, so that's the thickness of these panels, and then I'll just leave that there for now. And then the height there should be fine. And then of course over here, there's plenty of room there. It's just that point there, but that's good. Next thing I need to do is the actual floor. It's slightly longer than what it needs to be. So, just in case you weren't sure which way these go up, on the actual floor pans, these little runs, they curve down, but in the actual side panels, they point upwards. Then of course, so you've got the ridges for those sections there. Where the battery goes, it doesn't have any of these ridges. So panel goes that way. You'll notice there's a little slopey bit. Slopey bit goes down here. So it'll fit like that. Alright, so in my situation here, I've measured it and it works out about 10 mil needs to be cut off the end. One thing to be aware of, you may need to cut off the opposite end depending on how these ridges sit, and then that's where that divider goes here. So you need to work out what is best. In my case, it was better to take off 10 mil off this end rather than off the other end or evenly off both. It's just easier to do one cut off this end. Alright, let's get that cut. Okay, so that panel slides in nicely. Now, what I've done, I've also fitted it and then sort of just put a pencil line around the edge, just so I know exactly where the floor sits behind this actual rail here. So then that way I can drill some holes on this, ready to plug weld once it's finally fitted. There's one issue, like up in this corner, I had to sort of just do a little dodgy, trim that corner. You won't see that once it's in there, but because there's bits of the edge panels and stuff in there, and I haven't got a tool to get into that corner to clean it up perfectly, so we had to do a bit of a compromise. Okay, so we're up to the point where we are sorting out the left-hand side cover panel. What I've actually done, I've fitted in the fuel tank, and the reason why I needed to get that in, it's because this actual panel, it's wider than the gap, so they give you a piece that's slightly longer than what you need. But I've done the measurements and worked out that the edge of that panel needs to pretty much be level with this edge here. It can't extend into this area at all, and the reason for that is because you won't get the fuel tank in and out if it's protruding over that edge there. So I've already fitted it and done a test fit. It just pretty much just slots straight in there. That's not an issue. What I've done, I have just marked on here with the bottom edge. There's a pencil line there. I've just got to drill holes in that ready for the spot welds. The way this panel fits in here, I do believe it sits on the inside, so underneath that one there. So these holes will get filled once it's installed, and then on this end here it rests on the outside of there. So if that being the case, I just need to, because these two holes here, that's an error from when I just drilled, but that doesn't matter. But these two holes are the holes that the fuel tank cover piece goes into. It'll need some captive bolts on the other side, but of course they'll be put in after the floor. This panel is welded in. It'll also need a few, where you can see the spot welds, I just need to drill through them to make them into holes so they can be plug welded when this panel gets installed. So first thing I need to do is put it up there again and just get the exact length. You can sort of see there's a bit of an overhang. Not much, but it'll capture the fuel tank if that's not trimmed down. Alright, so pulling out the tank now, with that sheet in the right spot, I haven't cut it yet. You'll notice there's about 5 mil overhang, but there's room to get the tank in and out. So I'm not going to bother modifying that panel at all. I won't bother trimming down the side, because the tank can get in and out. So that's not an issue. Alright, so the next step now is to... These panels at the bottom and the top won't be installed just yet because I've got to sort out the sandblasting. That'll be the next thing to work out what to do. Inside here for the battery support, I've just got another little bracket. That's got to be welded in there. But the rest of the battery support won't be put in until the floor's in, so there's still a bit of time to do that. Okay, I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.